Hi, Mrs. Smith. My name's Chelsea. I'm the palliative PA. Do you mind if I just go through a few things in more detail about your healthcare? Yeah, of course, no problem. So in particular, I really wanted to talk about your code status. Now, this is something that you have been asked many times in the past, every time you're admitted to the hospital and anytime you come to the emergency room. But I wanted to talk about it in a little bit more detail, if that's all right. Okay, sure. So I typically find that this is asked almost as just a simple yes or no question, and it's not that simple. So let's talk about it in a little bit more detail. So code status in particular is something that we use if your heart stops, meaning if your heart actually stops and you pass away, what do we do? Do we try to do measures like CPR to bring you back, or do we let you pass naturally? Oh my, that seems like a hard question. I like to talk about those measures in a little bit more detail so you actually know what they entail. When the heart stops, the blood is not pumping, and therefore we are going to attempt to try to get that blood pumping again and get the heart beating again. So how do we do that? We do that with what's called CPR. So CPR is where we pound on the chest, trying to get the blood pumping again and trying to get the heart to respond. And a lot of times, unfortunately, during CPR, we can break ribs because this is something that is very traumatic. The other piece of this is if you receive CPR in the hospital, part of the ACLS algorithm, which is the Advanced Cardiovascular Life Support algorithm that we use to try to bring you back, we do have to put in an airway. So that means putting a tube down your throat and typically putting you on like a bag mask until we can get you somewhere to put you on a ventilator. And to be on a ventilator, we do usually have to sedate you because otherwise you're going to try to pull that tube out. CPR is not anything like it is in the movies. There are quite a lot of people that end up with brain damage from that lack of oxygen during the time that the heart is stopped. These are all things that I just want you to be very aware of when you're considering your code status. So what are your thoughts? Honey, I know all of those things and I have thought of all of those things. But listen, if I'm placed on a ventilator, even if it's with broken ribs, I want my kids to be able to get here and say goodbye to me. So that's why I'm still a full code. My wishes are, however, written down that I don't want those things long term. So if there's no hope, just let me go.